Hey, good morning. It is Friday and I'm out with the dog. The new pattern seems to be wake up sad again. I don't know why. I got a lot of sleep last night. Actually, I fell asleep kind of early and then I woke up at about 11:30 oh, it was a weird night. Let me tell you about it. Yeah, fell asleep and then sort of latish at night, I had a couple texts come in. The hour was late, but they were well-intentioned and kind, and it was nice to sort of connect with people. And my fear was that since I'd been asleep and then woke up, I wasn't gonna get back to bed. So I went into bed and I was reading. It's funny, the book on abandonment that I started early on in this process, and then I stopped because it sort of covered where I was at. Months later, as I picked the book back up and I'm reading more, I'm still not abnormal. You know, the things I'm going through are relevant. It's a process. And what's reassuring about that book is it talks about abandonment breakups and how it's different than other breakups. Stuff I was reading about last night in particular talked about a significant relationship abandonment versus death. And it was kind of a lot of the things I've been talking about. When somebody dies, there's a huge public outpouring of love and sympathy, and I think they related it as something like, you know, when somebody dies, it's surgical. It's like a scalpel cut to your heart. You know, somebody's just cut out of your life. When somebody significant abandons you, it's like something explodes inside of you. There's shrapnel and debris, and it's messy, and it takes years to get over. And the years to get over part disturbed me because I don't want to lose years of my life to this breakup. I don't want her to have moved on so easily and for me to spend years processing this nightmare. But aside from that, it's true. I've seen on Instagram, she's on that trip up in Oregon, and thanks to social media, I've seen a few pictures of her on the trip, and she looks really happy. Damn it, I want to be really happy. So I was reading, trying to get tired, and then at 12:30, I get a text from David. And it says, "Hey, do you want some yellowtail?" And I was like, you have to be kidding me. So I texted back and I said, I don't think I'm in any position to be butchering fish at this time of night. And he's like, oh, it's already filleted. So I put him off last night because that felt ridiculous. But he's gonna come over this morning and bring me some more yellowtail. And all I have to do is help him vacuum seal the rest of his fish. So it's gonna be an interesting day. Here's what today looks like. I'm up early, I'm gonna go to Bar Method and give that a try. Then I have to take care of my friend's cat. And then David's gonna come over with some yellowtail. And then I have a lesson at 1:30, so I'll go to the barn on the early side. And in between there, I'm gonna work on finalizing my divorce printouts and getting all that ready. Yeah, the anxiety's in my heart. I can feel it, it's clenching. Hopefully activities will keep me busy. We talked about this, so we'll see if it works. I'm trying to come up with why I'm so scared to move out of my condo, to move into a new apartment. And I think part of it is this. When I first met my wife, I took a huge leap of faith. I fell in love with her, and I knew she was everything. I knew she was my soulmate. Like I just knew she was the greatest thing in the world. And I changed everything about my life. I changed who I was dating. I changed where I lived. I changed what I did for a living. Every single thing about my life, I changed. And it all worked out amazingly. Within that umbrella, we moved to a couple different places, and that was okay. We did it together, and each move was smart and an improvement, and life was going really well. And I think part of what's troubling me right now is I have to take another leap. But this isn't a leap of faith. This isn't something I'm doing out of love or I'm doing out of excitement. Like, this is all out of necessity. I just have to move somewhere else. It's not excited progress a couple makes. I just can't live at home anymore. So that huge leap of faith, it doesn't undermine that leap of faith. I don't regret moving to California and doing all those things. I don't want to do the things I have to do. I guess that's what it comes down to. Everything I've done to this point was for us, for the excited betterment of life. And I guess that peaked. And now I'm on the other side of that peak and coming down. So things I'm doing now are just to necessitate living here as opposed to love living here and to be okay in the face of this. And that's where it should end. But instead, I compare me to her, and she just took another leap of faith and appears to be jumping into something even better than this. Moving to another new town, buying an even bigger piece of property, entering into a relationship she wants to have kids in. Like, each thing is better than this one. And it's really, really fast. All of these things became known super fast unless of course it was going on for much longer while we were together. And it's hard, I don't know. She claims no, but I have to entertain that idea both ways. Either she was telling the truth and it happened super mega fast, or she was cheating on me for way longer than I thought. There's no win in that either. God. Alright, I need to go get ready for bar method. But I think that's part of it. I don't relish the idea of moving on. Once I'm in the process of moving on, I'll be better, but doing the work to get there sucks. So I've just had another thought. It's like I'm carrying the torch for what our relationship used to be. You know, I'm the last vestige of that relationship, because she's already gone. So once I up and move and change everything, what that relationship used to be like is no more. And I think maybe that's a failing on my part. Or maybe it's part of the process. Maybe it's okay. Maybe I'm being hard on myself. But why am I holding on to something that she clearly doesn't want? She's over it. It's interesting how an abandonment breakup like mine really ties into your sense of self-worth. That's what I'm thinking about this morning. Class was fine. It went really nicely. I was thinking a lot about this sort of aura of horse trainers, and you know, that guy I met yesterday was super cool, and I watched his videos, and they do have this kind of weird celebrity status of like they can do things with horses that other people can't, and it's kind of a narrow world of celebrity. But I guess I'm sort of envious because one, I care about horses, and two, my wife left me for one, so it's particularly potent. And then I spent a bit of class feeling like I'm not good enough, feeling a little bit like a failure. And what I'm trying to figure out is what defines success or failure. I guess we were talking about that yesterday, but what makes you a success? And I felt like a success before because I was proud of my life. I was proud of my relationship. I was proud of who I was married to. I was proud of the quality of work we did and how the jobs we did gave back to society. Being a teacher, like, I'm not saying I have the most noble job, but I affect people. You know, I help them grow and learn and become hopefully better people. And I think that's what's hard about this. Now that it's over, it just sheds light on things. I was proud because of the totality of it all. I was proud of where we lived. I was proud of what we did. I was proud of us. I was proud of our ability to travel and see the world. I don't need that. I mean, I'd love to travel, but I don't need it. It wasn't about money. I guess it was maybe about security. But I was secure in the relationship, and that was good enough for everything. You know, when you have someone you believe in who believes in you, yeah, there's nothing you can't do. And I guess I need to find that strength in myself, that belief of there's nothing I can't do. The problem is all the moves I need to make now are moves I don't want to make. The only reason I'm not okay is because of her. It's not that I'm not a good person. It's not that I'm not creative or strong or confident or like, that's all there. That's me. I know that about me. I'm just broken because of her. So this voyage of self-improvement I need to go on isn't because I found myself lacking. It's because I've been broken by somebody. It feels like such a waste of energy. I had kind of a cool morning, and I'd like to tell you about it. Bar method itself was good, but after that I plummeted. I got really sad, and I can't tell you exactly why. I need to learn from this, though, because I can't have this every day. I can't every day be missing her and missing the relationship. It's self-destructive. Right around 8, David called, come over and bring me the fish that he had texted about at 12:30 last night. He came over, and it was really cool. He sharpened up one of my knives in a way that he learned, portioned up the fish. He cut up some toro, and we just ate it. Like, I had sushi for breakfast with soy sauce from a fish that had been caught yesterday, and that was really delicious. I don't know why. Maybe it was the meaningfulness of the moment, or maybe it was just that good. But there was a particular piece of fish I had at the fish market in Tokyo that was probably one of my favorite pieces of sushi I've ever eaten. And the piece I had this morning was second place. It was really good. David just cut it off and put a little soy sauce on it in my kitchen. It was great. And the cool thing is, the rest of that piece I have vacuum sealed and frozen in my freezer. When I want, I should be able to have more. And that's really cool. We cut up and vacuum sealed a whole bunch of fish, and then we just got into a conversation, and It was really interesting. He's one of the few former students I've told about my situation, and it's awkward because, in the context of school, in the classroom that I run, in the wood shop, teaching furniture design, I'm competent. I'm a good designer. I'm a good teacher. I can run a wood shop well. And all the aspects that matter for running a woodworking environment and breeding creativity in high school students, I've got it pretty well down. I mean, I'm always learning. I always want to do more, but I'm competent. And talking to a former student about having a relationship fall apart, about being blindsided and just feeling the catastrophe of what is, it's different. I don't have my act together. It doesn't make sense. I don't have all the answers or know where to get them if I don't. I'm going through a process I've never been before that I don't know the rules to. So we had this conversation just about life, and he was talking about he hasn't been out of high school that long, but how he doesn't feel like high school prepared you for the rest of the world. So he's out there figuring it out, and similarly, I feel like I'm out here figuring it out. Not that we're the same, but we're similar. I'm trying to read the room, based on things aren't going as they seem like they should be going, and it's not clear what the right move is. And we just had a really nice conversation about life and next moves and what's smart. Look how excited he is to see me. Alright, so we're going to do a lesson today, and look how delighted he is, huh? Yeah. He's a good egg. I like this guy. Hey, alright, so not to complain, but I've definitely been trapped at the barn. When I checked traffic, God, like 2.5 hours ago? Yeah, my goodness. It said it was gonna take me an hour and 17 minutes to get home, and the time just kept growing and growing. So I decided to stay here and do some work, and then everyone left, and I got a little lonely. And then one of my Barnes friends showed up, and she's the one going through a similar situation to me. Since nobody else was around, we could commiserate a little bit more openly and honestly. And you know what, getting divorced sucks for anyone that's getting divorced. And man, if you're going through something, I am really sorry. It's terrible. One of the things that we talked about is the process is long. I know at some point I'll have the benefit of hindsight and be grateful that I'm where I'm at. But for me right now, every day is hard, and every day is long, and I'm not entirely sure what to do. If you completely immerse yourself in activities, you might not deal with the trauma and the pain, but it'll still be there. So then at some point it's going to come out, it's going to fester. And so if you don't just keep yourself totally busy all of the time, then you're bound to suffer, which seems to be what I do. I suffer a lot, and I don't know if there's a happy medium. I don't know how to do this. It was good to talk to her. Her current husband is being pretty shitty, and my current wife is being pretty shitty. Commiserating is powerful. She told me that one of our other barn friends confronted him about if he's going to move his business, and he says, oh, no, nothing's in the works. I would tell you, I'll give you plenty of notice if something's going to happen. And that's a lie. That is not true, and that makes me think very little of him. So they're dishonest as a couple. I mean, not smart to do to clients, particularly clients who know people. It's so dumb, but what do I know? My wife doesn't tell me anything because she thinks I will tell his ex-girlfriend. My lesson today went really well. My teacher, I don't know why, my teacher's name is Adrian, and she's amazing. And if you want to learn how to jump horses, yeah, you should talk to Adrian, because she's incredible. I went over some jumps, and just in terms of positives, I jumped the highest jump I've ever jumped today, which still isn't tall. It's not big even a little bit. It's very, very small, but it was taller than anything else I've ever gone over. So that's good. That's, one little notch higher. Little notch higher. Not a big jump. Like, please don't get any thoughts that I'm anything but the noobiest of noobs because I'm a total noob. I can't convey to you strongly enough how when I'm in a lesson, when I'm riding the horse, I don't think about anything but that moment. When you try and meditate and your brain goes all over the place, all you're trying to do is be focused on the moment. And I've found something that gives me that. It is meditative in that way. You need to be present in the moment. You need to be paying attention to what the horse is telling you and what you're telling the horse. Maybe it's because I'm so bad at it, but I don't have any time to think about all the crappy things that are happening in my life. Namely getting divorced and moving and heartbroken and scared for my future and finances and being alone, just being so lonely. I get a break from that, and that's tremendous. And I get the rush of learning new things and making incremental tiny bits of progress and physically working on the skill. It's not just a cerebral thing you read from a book. It's a life-changing thing. And I think that's why I get scared about my financial future, because this thing has become very, very important to me, and I don't want to not be able to do it. And I realize how that statement has the potential to sound so douchey, like, oh, he's so scared for his future, he wants to be able to ride horses. But I want to be able to have the experience of going to the place and getting on a horse and meditating and escaping the hard things I think about just about every waking moment of my day. It was nice to talk to my barn friend about him. She's pissed at him. She asked him to do some work on her horses, and he concluded that one of her horses is hurt and hasn't followed up, hasn't checked in. He took her check because you have to prepay him. So he took the money, and he hasn't illustrated any caring. What she said was, it feels like he graces me with his presence when he shows up. Yeah, that's the guy I got left for. The horse guy that doesn't even check on the horses when they're not well, and his clients feel like they're being graced with his presence. Cool. I'm glad that's better than me. Alright, I'm gonna get off the phone because I'm out of things to say, and I just want to drive through downtown safely. So, thanks for hanging out and listening, and I'll talk to you more soon.